Today we're going to test drive one of the most important cars in the world. It is, of course, the Toyota Camry. Why is it so important? Well, it is currently the #2 best-selling car in the US. They sell more than 300,000 of these every single year. The Camry starts at about $23,000. The model we're driving today is the fully loaded XSE, and it runs $35,000. So what do you get? Well, under that hood is a 3.5-liter V6. It's good for 268 horsepower. Channels all that power through a 6-speed automatic transmission to the front wheels. Inside the cabin, you have electronics that will be the envy of your neighborhood, including great infotainment with apps and navigation, and safety electronics like blind spot identification, lane detection, collision mitigation, and adaptive cruise control. So even though this has the V6 engine, it's actually still pretty economical. At 21 miles to the gallon in the city, 31 on the highway. Again, 268 horsepower. That's not insignificant. What we have here is not just any Camry. This is the best Camry because it's got everything. Plenty of room for a 6-footer. And in the back, easy switch, plenty of space. You can pull these down to pop the seats forward. And under the trunk here, there's a layer of tools, and under the tools, it's got a full-size spare. So to turn the car on, simple push-button affair with a proximity sensing key. Very nice, little picture of the Camry in the middle there. Gauge cluster, very traditional. You have your tach on the left, speedo on the right, with a nice color screen right in the middle. And that color screen gives me all sorts of information, from the current speed that I'm doing to compass, music, and switch between my satellite radio and FM, AM, and my iPod or Pandora. I can also control the cruise control, but that's what's really cool about this car. It doesn't just have traditional cruise control. It has adaptive cruise control, which means it'll pace the car in front of me. I basically can set the speed to, say, 70 miles per hour. If the car in front of me is doing 60, this car will do 60. It's very nice when doing interstate travel. Let's look at some of the safety features here. First off, there's blind spot monitoring. Turn it on, and you have cameras on the side that will look for anybody in my blind spot. If somebody's there, light will go on. If I put the turn signal on, it'll notify me to let me know somebody's in my blind spot. Very useful. I can turn traction control off if I really wanted to. It has lane detection. That's this next button here. That allows me to get a notification if I should happen to drift out of a lane. And then the last one here is crash mitigation, pre-collision alert. I can set the sensitivity up to 3 levels, and that'll notify me if the car in front of me has stopped and I haven't yet put my foot on the brake. If I am going under a certain speed, it'll actually brake the car for me. If I'm going too fast, it'll preload the brakes, detecting imminent collision, which will give me the opportunity to slam on my brakes, and it'll cause less damage than it would otherwise. These are all very good things. Now, you could complain, well, the car is doing all this for you. What's the point of driving? I don't think I can argue with safety. These are some very, very important safety features, and I think that, they save you once, they paid for themselves. The center screen, this is pretty cool. Like the traditional Toyota setup, it has a home screen, which gives me 3 quadrants that I can have whichever data I want in them. Right now I have it set up for XM on one, map on the other, and weather down below. Pretty neat. Just touch on the map, and it'll bring me into the map. And then we can go to app screen. Here you can do the iPad swipe, and we can pick all sorts of different apps, from OpenTable to Facebook Places to sports and fuel. We have an eco app here that shows our current level of fuel economy, which, let's just say I haven't been really taking it easy. Moving a little bit further down, we have the climate control system. Very nice in the fact that it is dual climate. I can first do my own temperature, I can also heat my mirrors, the back, or do the front defrost. Everything I'm looking for falls to touch very quickly. And I can sync the two if I want to have a single dial control both climates. Thumbs up for usability. Moving even further down, I have a little bin. Now this is really special. It does have a USB, which I can then plug in my iPhone or an Android phone for charging and for multimedia access on the display. But underneath that is something really special. This button here turns on the induction charging pad. That allows me, if I have the right kind of induction charger on the back of my phone, I can just set it down there and it'll charge in the car. No cables. Pretty sweet. One thing I love about this car, and yes, it's one of those silly things, seat warmers. This car has seat warmers, and I'm liking them. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. It also has paddle shifters, actually. Look at that. A Camry with paddle shifters. Who would have thought? Let's go ahead and put it into gear and see how she drives. We're on a little country road here. Let's see how she does in terms of performance. Go ahead and come to a complete stop. We'll put the gear shift in Sport. Let's use the paddle shifters. Whoa, wheel spin, and traction control catches it. Whoo! Okay, that's unexpected. This is not my mother's Camry, that's for sure. Oh, brakes are good. Very nice positive feel on the brakes. Not like the, whoa! Oh, traction control, keeping it all together. But man, this car hauls cookies. And even though this has sport tune suspension, it's soaking up the road. I'm not getting any abuse here, which is nice. In fact, it's quite comfortable. And these seats feel really good. Even though they're leather, they're actually like an Alcantara in the middle, which really keeps me planted in my seating position here, which I really like. The Camry was completely redone 2 years ago, and that was kind of the first time the Camry had been fun to drive in a long time. Well, for this year, they just didn't sit down and do nothing. They actually went back to the drawing board and they made even more changes to this car, which I think really helped make it, first off, look a lot better. But secondly, it even drives better. And that's quite an accomplishment for a car that is as accomplished as the Camry. So what lane detection does is it has a camera up here that scans the road in front of me. And if I should happen to drift, and I creep over here, whoop, telling me get back in my lane. Slide over here, whoop, detected that lane. Now, because of all this power, I am getting a little bit of wheel spin when I floor it, but because it has traction control, it just picks it up and I don't lose control. It slows the wheels down for me to make sure that I'm not like scampering all over the place. And I'm really getting very little, if any, torque steer. I mean, torque steer is negligible. It's managed very well by the traction control system, which is really good when you're dealing with 268 horsepower to the front wheels. But oh boy, does it provide passing power. So with this car, Toyota hopes to take the #1 car slot away from Honda. Can they do it? They certainly have all the ingredients. I'm Ryan Douthit for AutoNation. Thanks for watching.